Hello, 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 guys. Thank you for joining me at Rise and Roar Fitness. This is my YouTube channel, and welcome to my channel. I'm Nora. I'm the owner of Rise and Roar Fitness, a fitness and wellness company that's based on Long Island in New York. So if you're a woman over 50 who's ready to embrace strength, step out of your comfort zone and learn new skills to feel empowered in every stage of your life, you've come to the right place. So let me explain who this video is for. Number one, this is a welcome video to my channel. So this is the first of many videos, and I'm going to label them so that you can follow along. That way, you can comment, you can let me know what you'd like me to cover. This video is for women, on this channel is for women who want to break free from the yo-yo dieting cycle and discover how to fuel their bodies, build muscle, and live with confidence. This video is not, let me be really clear here. If you're looking for a quick fix diet, meal plans, a shortcut to overnight results, this isn't for you. I'm all about sustainable change and building habits that last a lifetime. I'm also going to tell you that being from Long Island in New York, I am very blunt and deliver my advice and my wisdom very bluntly. Okay. So let me tell you a little bit about me. I'm the owner of Rise and Roar Fitness, which is based on Long Island. I am the mom of six. They're all grown now. I'm 53 years old. My wellness journey began in 2005 after I had my fifth child and went through a major life transition. So we moved. I was having my fifth kid. Um, and like so many women, I thought the only way to get in shape was to eat less and less and less. So I would like get pregnant, be like, oh my God, I could eat, I could eat. And then afterwards, I would start my diet after breastfeeding, of course. I was stuck in the mindset of starving myself to reach my goals, and it was not sustainable in the least bit. I was constantly yo-yoing, right? Constantly yo-yoing. So let's go to 2005. I ended up joining a gym. I really joined a gym at first, and I'm like sort of embarrassed now to say this, but I joined a gym at first because I had no friends out here when I first moved. I wanted to get out of the house. I was looking for something with free babysitting as well because I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. So I started on cardio machines like most of you do, and just, got in there really to meet people. I started with cardio, obviously, spin classes, treadmills, all that stuff. Um, and while I was working at the gym, I thought the only way to get in shape was to do more and more cardio and eat less and less, right? Or at least that's what I was discovering. I was doing more and more of a workout. I was in the gym for like 2 or 3 hours, and I was having more and more trouble over time getting into and seeing those results that I had once seen. Thank God there were guys at the gym. Again, I was spending 2 to 3 hours there a day, who were like, dude, you are getting so skinny. I remember my first trainer, he was like, you walk at me and I'm like, oh, this girl's in pretty good shape. But then you walk away and I'm like, wow, like she has zero muscle. Like I was kind of, my posture was all messed up, whatever. So these guys were basically like, listen, we could take you and show you the real way to get results, like real muscle. I'd been flipping through. I always thought that I would get toned arms by eating less and get toned legs by eating less. I had never worn shorts. I'm the oldest of 8 kids as well. So it's me, and then I had 5 brothers, and then 2 sisters who were 15 years younger than me and 18 years younger than me. So my brothers were all athletes, but I really did nothing through high school. I was actually the chubby kid through high school. So I had really no skill set. When these guys discovered me and let me work out with them, um, it brought me a confidence and a space for myself that I had never, ever witnessed before. I was exhausted at first. I was sore. I was all of these things, but I started to notice real change real fast, right? And these guys also talked to me about protein. They started talking to me about macros. So at the same time, this gym was going out of business. And because I was really, I was always like wanting to help people. They were like, okay, why don't you get your spin certification? Because I was a spin crazy person. Why don't you get your spin certification and you could start teaching spin here? Because a lot of teachers were leaving as they saw that the gym was going to go under. Got my spin certification, started teaching spin, love that. Was still working out with the guys and lifting. And then I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to get my certification for training too, because I wanted, the guys were giving me, bits and pieces of nutrition here and there. And I was doing their workouts, but I really wanted to know how to program my own workouts and how to dive into nutrition. So at this point, 2005, I was what, 34. I'm also having my baby in 2008. So I had my sixth at 2008. So I'm having babies, I'm getting pregnant in between all this. And I'm still lifting and teaching spin and like maintaining my wellness. But again, the whole pregnancy thing and like being able to eat whatever I wanted, I was still kind of doing the yo-yo thing. I knew a little bit more about nutrition. That's why I was studying it. But eating all the food that everybody told me, and I'm sure if you guys have been on the internet, you see these girls that are like, I eat 2,600 calories a day and they're jacked out of their mind and they're, ripped and they look toned and everything. And you're like, 2,600 calories a day. Like, yeah, right, girl. Like, I'm never going over 1,200. Um, and you would think that that is not, that's like a poo-poo thing. But I feel like 50, I'm 50, I train clients. I have clients who are 40, over 40, all the way into their 70s, all the way into their 80s. And the guys are much better at eating more, but women are still stuck, especially if you're our age, right? Still stuck in that Weight Watchers mentality where they believe that you have to eat in a deficit to see results and to lose weight, right? So when I got my coaching certification, like I said, I knew that I was going to have to take on real clients in real time to test all that information that I was learning about nutrition. I needed real people in real time to test it on besides myself. And I started working at the gym as a trainer. I had clients that were, high school athletes, college athletes, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, over 60. And what ended up happening was I kind of burnt myself out because I was like researching on the end like workouts, I knew that workouts weren't it. I knew that working out was bringing me results, but I knew they weren't the results that I wanted. I knew that I wanted to dive in more and get better results. Like I looked great, but I still was really skinny. I think I was like 112 pounds or something like that. Um, and I saw tone, but I didn't feel that great. I didn't have a ton of energy. I was exhausted with the kids. I was eating candy at like 4 o'clock. Like I was having that, mom lull where like around 4 or 5 o'clock, I was just out of my energy. And I was like, what am I going to do? Like, do I go to Starbucks? Do I pop a Monster? Do I eat candy? Whatever. Um, I decided to leave the gym because I wasn't getting paid a ton of money. Again, childcare was more expensive than what I was making at the gym at the time. And also, I found that at the gym, it was much harder I wasn't getting paid a ton. So clients would come into the gym and leave me, and there would be no real communication in between like our sessions. And like they would come to the next session. I'm like, how was your nutrition? Oh, it was good. Like there was nothing formal. And I wasn't going to get paid. And also, they were the gym's clients, right? I wasn't going to get paid. And they were clients that belonged to somebody else to follow their nutrition, to have contact with them in and out the gym, blah, blah, blah. Like that was when back in 2000, whatever, 2009, when I was a trainer, there wasn't like all these apps and all these things that were like MyFitnessPal. Like MyFitnessPal existed, but it wasn't where everything was integrated. Now with my clients, like I could see what you guys do in real time. I could see what you eat in real time. Everything's integrated into the app. It's much easier. But as a coach back then, I recognized the importance of having people work out, but then supporting them from behind with proper nutrition, with changing their story and making themselves stronger mentally, physically, spiritually. Like I recognized that there was so much more other than workouts to get these people the transformation they wanted. So then in 2019, I lost my brother to alcoholism, and that was something that I don't think, I wish that people didn't have to ever experience that. But I feel like it's kind of where the world is going, between fentanyl, between alcohol, between social media, all this stuff. There's so much pressure on all of us, right? To kind of be perfect, or like when I lose the 10 pounds, when I go on the perfect vacation, when I blah, blah, blah. My brother just couldn't live up to that. And unfortunately, he relied on alcohol to self-medicate. And it was during that time where I recognized prophetically that if I could change people's belief about themselves, if I could have people believe in themselves, maybe I could prevent what had happened to my brother. My brother died at age 42. And that was predominantly the demographic that I dealt with. I had somebody call me out of retirement to after I'd retired from the gym. I had a woman who was my age call me and say, "Oh my God, I watched you train all these people and you had crazy transformations. Will you train me?" So I started training her. We started training every day because who knew at that point that that wasn't like the best thing to do. Um, and I saved my money and I converted my garage into a studio. So it's a detached garage and it's my studio. And I started training people. And because it was my business, I really was behind the scenes figuring out the nutrition for this specific person who was 56 years old and worked out X amount and got in this amount of steps. And like, you know what I mean? I was able to figure out their macros, to watch them get results, to learn all about reverse dieting, to learn about cuts, to learn about maintenance. And in 2019, so that was like, sorry, I'm like all over the place, but that was like 2012 where I opened up my own business. It wasn't until 2019 that I recognized, okay, I might be giving these people results, but they're not holding on to them. They're still yo-yoing. If they train with me for X amount of days and X amount of years, they're still not getting a transformation. And what's that about? Now you'll have trainers that are like, that's about them. They can't commit to themselves. They don't know what they're about, blah, blah, blah. Like, why do you worry about it? I had listened to this for a long time. My husband's like, you're making money. Like, why does it bother you so much? Why does it bother you so much? And it really did bother me because I had experienced such a transformation that actually kept me above water when I lost my brother. Not only did it keep me above water, but I was able to call my dad and speak to him from a testimony part of me that swore to my dad, you need to get into a gym. You need to build your strength because if you don't, you might die from the loss of my brother. And I knew that that was the truth. And I didn't know how, and I didn't know why, but I knew it was the truth. So my dad starts lifting weights. My dad starts doing the protein that I'm prescribing him. And I watched this amazing transformation of this man that, I had watched my whole life, that had been my mentor, that had been my rock. And I was astounded. And also, I was given proof in the pudding that all of this time that I had believed that workouts and my nutrition and my workouts and my movement and my walks and my developing my strength was such an inside job that reflected on the outside. Okay. Because people will say to me all the time, how do you get your arms? How do you get, listen, there's a technique. But if you're not invested in this for the transformation of yourself, to really build your strength and build your belief in yourself. Every time I made a promise to myself, I freaking kept it. And that builds confidence like nobody's business. It's not about what size jean you are that builds confidence. It's keeping the promises that you make to yourself. It's also keeping the promises that you make to other people. And I kept my promise to my dad, and I kept my promise to my brother. And then through watching this metamorphosis of my dad, through watching his transformation, I knew that I had a program. And so we went into COVID. I hired a business coach, and the business coach was like, you have to like know who you're speaking to. I knew I could speak to women like me because I had met so many women like me who were divorced, who lost their child, who had been through so many catastrophic things. And when I spoke to them, they all decided to train with me. And I knew there was a reason, because they believe in my strength. They believe in my story. And so I started the Rise and Roar Reinvention program, which is a 12-week program, which takes women through the transformation. And these women, when we went through COVID, I think I had 20 clients that were coming to my studio. They could hook in to me for 12 weeks and do the nutrition and do the thing. But if they would stop training with me after 12 weeks, I would notice that they would go back into their comfort zones. They would go back into, their drinking or whatever. And I had given them a tool, but I hadn't shown them over the course of a year or the course of a few years how to kind of live in the program, right? Because what I recognize is this is not a 12-week fix. You could say 12-week boot camp, right, to learn the skills. But over the course of your lifetime, you're going to be required to constantly transform in order to keep your results, right? So people will often speak to you about, goals. And if I say I want to lose 10 pounds, when I get to 10 pounds, my brain, which is a machine, says, okay, you're done. And it relaxes because it's reached the goal. So what we've recognized in Rise and More Reinvention is that we need to, yes, have a goal for those 12 weeks, but we need to also be able to create our own goals that are going to keep us going after that. So what I say to my clients when they come in is, I'm really not interested in the weight. I'm not interested in it. Because what I think is that women have been distracted for the longest time. The easiest thing is to believe that your life is going to be so much better when you lose 10 pounds. But we all know as women, especially women over 50, that that's not the fucking case. You could look like a freaking movie star and your life could be unraveling behind the scenes. My life has been threatened to be unraveled. I can't tell you how many times with 6 kids, my chances of going through traumatic events, which we will not even get into, is so much higher than the average. And what I know through weightlifting, through having made this muscle, is that it's been a spiritual, a physical, and emotional journey. So my clients who fully understand this see the best transformations, right? We know that this is a lifelong commitment. I do an online program, and I also do an in-person immersive 12-week program. That's Rise and Roar Reinvention. And my online program is a minimum of 6 months that you have to sign on for. And we'll work on all of this. But guys, my biggest advice here is that if you're landing on my page, I'm going to label all of these videos for you. So you'll start with video 1, you'll go to video 2, video 3. They'll all have topics too, so you can hop around if you want to. My biggest message to you is don't focus on the goal. The goal should be out there. It should be written on paper. But the most important thing is to change the way that you live, is every day to come a little bit out of your comfort zone, right? We know that there are 4 methods or 4 pillars to my program. Those are macros, understanding nutrition. Everybody thinks that they understand nutrition. Yes, you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. If you've been in a calorie deficit for a long time and you're not seeing results, it's because your body's used to being in that calorie deficit and you're actually storing fat. Your body is actually probably stealing from your hair, your skin. You might have trainer face because you've been at a deficit for so long that your body's been adapted. Even if you're working out, your body adapts to and gets whatever it needs to support the stress that you're putting it under. Okay. So in my program, when you understand nutrition, you're going to understand that there are periods for maintenance. That's where your body's just going to be consuming its regular amount of calories. Nobody should ever be consuming more than less than 1,200 calories. Okay, if you are, you have to build up to that. And I'll have videos that go in depth into all of these categories, but I'm just explaining it here for you. So we're going to talk about maintenance. We're going to talk about builds. We're going to talk about cuts. All right. Most people will always go into the cut and cut successfully, but they have no fucking idea what to do after a cut. So they lose 20 pounds or lose 10 pounds or lose 50 pounds and they gain it back because nobody talks to them about maintenance and nobody talks to them about a build. Okay. So it's necessary that you learn those other two cycles of nutrition. We're going to talk about movement. Today's day and age, yes, are you working out? Fantastic. That's great. But you need to move and be active outside of your workout. So a workout might be 1 hour out of 24. That's 1/24th of your day. Yes, the others, maybe 7 hours are spent sleeping. Okay. But we're going to talk about being active outside of your workouts as well and how important that is as we age, because we do slow down, believe it or not. We're going to talk about mindset. If you're coming in to me from Weight Watchers, or if you honestly believe that your life is going to be so much better when you lose the weight, you're missing all of the important, really meaty stuff in between. So we're going to talk about mindset an awful lot and really build up your skills in making promises to yourself and being able to keep those promises to yourself. And if you don't, some people will come to me and say, Nora, I don't even know what my goals are. I don't even know what my dreams are. I get that. So we'll help you build on those. Okay. So we're going to talk about, what did I say? We're going to talk about macros. We're going to talk about mindset. We're going to talk about workouts, right? We're going to talk about the fact that lifting is so much more important than cardio, especially as we get older, but it doesn't say that cardio shouldn't happen. Okay. We're going to balance. We're going to talk about the balance. We're going to talk about progressive overload. We're going to talk about the fact that, yes, you need to lift very heavy. You don't need to lift very heavy if you're still trying to eat no calories. You cannot lift heavy and not eat food because you will get injured as you get older. Trust me, I've seen clients do this. I tell them a minimum of 1,200 calories. They still want to eat 800, 900, 1,000 calories. They're gaining a ton of fat or their body's storing a ton of fat. So they are skinny fat or they are not building muscle properly and they end up getting injured as they get heavier, right? And that's something that we don't want to run into. So we're going to talk about proper form during workouts. We're going to talk about what workout should look like. We're going to talk about how an injury cycle works. I'll do a video on that for you guys, just so that you understand where you are in the injury cycle and how to treat it so that it doesn't go far to tear a tendon or something like that. All right. And then last but not least, so mindset, macros, muscle, and movement. I think I covered it all. All right. So we're going to talk about all of those 4 pillars. So you have the macros and the nutrition. You've got the muscle, building muscle and your workouts. You've got the movement that you need to stay active every day. And you got the fact that you have to change your mindset. Okay. Your life is not going to be any better and your life is not going to be devoid of problems or things that derail you or a kid getting sick for a week so you can't work out or holidays happening or your family having a family reunion so you can't pack your food for that week. whatever it is. Life is always going to throw you these crazy things. And we need to know, again, if you're an online client for 6 months or a year, like I've had clients that are working with me for 3 years, 4 years, we cycle in and cycle out of those times, making them a part of your life so that it doesn't derail you, right? Most people go on vacation and they go off the rails and then they come back and they're like, why bother? It's like, that's not it. The definition of a successful, and what I want to teach my clients, the definition of a successful fitness journey or successful wellness journey is not the amount of times that you fall off the wagon, but it's the amount of times that you fall off the wagon, you learn something, and you get back on the wagon with that newfound wisdom. Okay. So, again, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Rise and More Fitness. I'm so excited to dive in with you. If you have things that you'd like me to cover, please comment under this video, leave me some comments, and I would love to make you videos about it. If you think that this channel could help somebody in your life that is always overwhelmed by the amount of wellness information and the crockety crocks of shit out there, invite them to this channel as well. You can reach me also on email at riseandmorefitness@gmail.com. You can reach me on my website, riseandmorefitness.com. You could find me on Instagram at rise_and_roar_fitness. I know my brother always makes fun of me about that. On Insta. And then on Facebook, I am Rise and More Fitness. All right. But I will link under here all the ways that you could get in touch with me. And again, thanks, guys, for entrusting me with your fitness journey. Thanks for listening to this video, and I look forward to getting to meet all of you. Have an amazing, amazing day.